The final battle, or so they thought. The stars were quiet. Too quiet. Across the dark sky of Sector 9, hundreds of alien warships floated like metal sharks. Their lights flashed red, their engines hummed low, and in the center of it all, the IFD main command ship Varnox Claw prepared for the final strike. The war had lasted 30 years. Planets burned, cities turned to ash, and the humans, once feared, once strong, were almost gone. On the bridge of Varnox Claw, Grand Commander, Tyrell stood tall. His skin was blue and scaled. His eyes glowed orange. "Begin the countdown," he said coldly. "Today, the last human colony falls. The war is over." Behind him, officers cheered. Screens showed a small human station on a dying moon. It was the last spark of Earth's once great fire. Now it would be crushed. But far away, past the dust clouds and broken satellites, something stirred. A small ship, old, silent. Just a dot on the radar. No one noticed it at first. "Commander," a young officer said. "Strange signal detected. It's human." Tyrell frowned. "Impossible. Earth was destroyed years ago." The officer zoomed in. The screen showed a long, black ship with no flags, no signal lights. "It's coming this way," the officer whispered. "Fast." On the human colony, alarms rang. Soldiers rushed to defense stations. Civilians hid underground. Captain Lyra Morgan, one of the last human commanders, looked up at the sky. She saw the enemy fleet. She knew they wouldn't survive. She closed her eyes. "At least we'll die fighting." Then she heard a voice on the radio. "Unidentified ship entering battlefield," the AI said. "What?" she said, opening her eyes. A moment later, her screen lit up. A ship had arrived, big, black, silent, and it was firing on the enemy. Lasers sliced through alien ships like paper. Explosions lit the sky. 1, 2, 3 warships down in seconds. "What is that?" Lyra gasped. "On Varnox Claw, chaos erupted. We're under attack." "Shields down." "We don't know what kind of weapons it's using." Tyrell's face turned pale. "It's a human warship," he whispered. "But we destroyed them all. We watched Earth burn." The unknown ship didn't answer their hails. It didn't speak. It just kept firing. Every shot was perfect. Every move fast and deadly. Lyra stared at the screen. "That's not any ship we built," she said. "That's something else." The black ship circled the battlefield like a predator. It never got hit. It never missed. It moved like it was alive. The enemy fleet tried to escape. Too late. The ship cut off their path, blasting 2 cruisers into fireballs. Suddenly, all human. Screens turned blue. A message flashed. "This colony is under Earth protection." People screamed and cheered. Soldiers cried. Earth had returned? Captain Lyra looked at the message again. It wasn't just a rescue, it was a warning. On the alien command ship, silence filled the bridge. Tyrell gripped the railing. "I want answers," he growled. "Where did that ship come from? Who sent it?" No one answered, because no one knew. The ship slowed down. Its guns powered down. It floated above the human colony, like a guardian. And then for the first time it spoke. A voice echoed across every channel in the system. Calm. Cold. Human. This war is not over. It never was. Earth remembers. Then the ship vanished into the stars, faster than anything they had ever seen. Gone, but not forgotten. Tyrell stood frozen. He knew what this meant. The humans were back, and they were angry. Earth's ghost warship. Battlefield was quiet now. Pieces of broken alien ships floated through space like metal skeletons. Fire still burned on the edges of some wreckage. Silence filled the airwaves. The strange black ship, the one that had come from nowhere, was gone. But no one could forget it. No one could explain it either. In the main war council of the Zarn Dominion, high above the red world of Veskra Prime, leaders argued. It was just an old signal. Nothing more. Shouted one alien general. "You fool!" Another hissed. "That ship destroyed 5 of our capital vessels in under 2 minutes. You think that's nothing? High Warlord Threx pounded the table. Enough! What do we actually know? The room fell silent. An old alien technician, gray skin, small frame, shaky hands, stepped forward. His voice trembled as he spoke. We scanned the ship. Its hull matches no known material. It didn't broadcast a standard ID. But its energy, signature matches one thing, he paused. Earth. The word hit the room like a thunderbolt. Earth, the lost world, the one they all thought was gone, destroyed long ago in the first collapse. Warlord Threx narrowed his eyes. That's impossible. No, sir, the technician said. It matches the old human prototype Warship files. One of the secret class, never launched, until now. A new fear entered the room. What if, one general whispered, Earth didn't die? What if they just disappeared on purpose? They all looked at each other, and no one had an answer. Far away in a hidden part of space, the black ship hovered near a cold, dark moon. No lights, no signals. It was like a ghost. Inside, everything was still. No crew could be seen. Only silence. Only the slow hum of power flowing through the walls. A soft blue light flickered in one corner of the bridge. A voice spoke to itself. Primary test complete, weapon systems stable. Defense unchallenged. Threat response minimal. Another voice replied, but it wasn't human. It was digital. Calm. Cold. Phase 2 will begin once confirmation is received. Await orders from command. A single pod opened in the back of the ship. Inside lay a man, frozen, sleeping. His face was scarred but peaceful. On his chest was a faded patch, an old Earth flag. One word was printed under it. Sentinel. His eyes did not open yet. But soon, they would. Back at the human colony, Captain, Lyra Morgan stood on the ruins of the outer wall. Her troops worked to rebuild what was left. Children carried supplies. Medics helped the wounded. But no one could stop looking at the sky. Do you think it'll come back? One soldier asked. Lyra didn't answer. She was looking at the message again, the one the black ship sent before it vanished. This war is not over. Earth remembers. It had played only once, but she recorded it. She watched it every night since. Something about the voice stayed with her. It wasn't just a warning. It was a promise. In the dark halls of the Gorak Empire, Supreme Strategist, Vels studied old files. Files the galaxy was told to forget. He unlocked a hidden vault with a dead Emperor's code. Inside were the last records of Earth's final days. Classified, erased from history. One file stood out. Project Oblivion. He opened it. What he saw made his cold blood run colder. Earth didn't die. They planned this. They left. They erased their trace from all systems, took their strongest minds, their deadliest machines, and vanished. Bells stared at the words at the bottom of the file. Oblivion is not the end. It is the pause before fury. He sat down slowly. The ghost ship was just the beginning. Now across the stars, rumors spread. Some said Earth had built secret weapons in time tunnels. Some said they became part machine, part god. Others believed Earth fell into madness and returned with no mercy left. But one thing was clear. Humanity was back, and they weren't asking for peace. They were demanding silence. The secrets they buried. The message spread like fire across the galaxy. Earth remembers. 3 words. That was all it took. On every colony, every military station, every spaceport, people whispered. Soldiers froze. Commanders stared at their screens in silence. And somewhere deep inside every species that once feared humans, an old sleeping fear began to wake. But there was one who didn't need to ask what it meant. Admiral Jorth Nalvek of the Sarkin fleet sat alone in a black room. The door was sealed. The walls were lined with old illegal tech, stuff banned by galactic order after the Great Collapse. He lit a pale blue screen and typed a secret code, one he hadn't used in 20 years. Level red, human files. The screen flickered. Then came the files the galaxy never wanted anyone to see, and in the center was one word. Oblivion. His 3 hearts beat faster. He remembered. It was over 20 years ago, back when Earth's final cities were falling. The galaxy had turned against them, too advanced, too unpredictable, too dangerous. Every empire wanted a piece of Earth's secrets, so they came in waves, armies, fleets, spies. Earth fought hard, but in the end, they seemed to lose. Except, not everything made sense. There was one ship, an Earth prototype, codenamed Sentinel-1. It was built using tech the other races had never seen. Some said it could destroy planets without firing a shot. Some said it could move through folded time. And then one day, it vanished. No battle, no wreckage, just gone. Every trace of it was deleted. That deletion was part of a secret deal. The Sarkans, the Gorak, even the Zarn Dominion agreed. If Earth was dead, its secrets must stay buried, and anyone who spoke about Project Oblivion was silenced. Until now. Admiral Nalvek leaned back, shaking. The black ship that destroyed their fleet. That was Sentinel-1. Earth hadn't been defeated. It had gone dark. On purpose. And now? Now it was waking up. Back on the human colony, Captain Lyra Morgan was still trying to make sense of it all. She gathered her officers in the old command room. They looked tired, confused, but hopeful. "Show them," she said. The technician played the broadcast again. The same message. The same calm voice. "This war is not over. Earth remembers." But this time, there was more. The technician had found hidden code under the message. It wasn't just a warning. It was a location, a set of coordinates. "It's deep space," he said. "No planet, no station, just empty black." Lyra narrowed her eyes. Or something hidden there. She looked around the room. "We're going." "No," one spoke. But no one argued either, because they all felt the same thing. The galaxy had lied to them. And maybe, just maybe, Earth never gave up. In another part of the galaxy, on the prison moon of Chronicles 4, a human prisoner sat alone in his cell. His name was Ellis Rain. He had been captured 10 years ago during the Battle of Titan's Gate. They kept him alive only because he was silent. But now, a guard rushed in, holding a data pad. "They're saying Earth's back," the guard laughed. A ghost ship wiped out a fleet. Ellis lifted his head for the first time in years. A slow smile crept across his face. "They finally woke her up," he whispered. The guard frowned. "What?" Ellis stood, stronger than anyone expected. "You don't understand," he said. "We never lost. We just hit pause." And then he did something no prisoner had done in 10 years. He broke the wall. In the shadows of the Andari Rift, far beyond any trade route, the black warship hovered once again. Sentinel-1 had gone silent. After the battle, but it wasn't sleeping. Inside, lights pulsed slowly. Blue, red, blue. The frozen man, the Sentinel, was now awake. He stood in the center of the bridge, eyes calm, body still. He looked young, but the weight of many years sat on his shoulders. His name was Commander Reese Cale. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just stared at the galaxy map floating in front of him. Then a robotic voice said, "Coordinates received. Colony en route. Contact. Lyra Morgan." He spoke for the first time. "Begin Phase 2. In the galactic capital of Zeller Prime, the Council of Species met in panic. "They've returned," a reptilian ambassador shouted. "This cannot be," another said. "Earth is dead." "No," a voice growled from the shadows. "Earth is angry." The doors flew open. It was Warlord Tyrell, his face dark with rage. You should have listened, he said. You should have let me destroy the last colony. He tossed a hollow device onto the table. It played a video of the black ship destroying their fleet. If one ship did this, Tyrell said, imagine what happens when the rest come. Across the stars, something deep had changed. The galaxy, once so sure of Earth's fall, now held its breath, and in the dark corners of space, hidden Earth warships began to flicker back to life. One by one, the undefeated human code. The stars did not speak, but deep in the silence between systems, Earth's warships began to wake. Not with noise, not with explosions, but with a code. Captain Lyra Morgan didn't know what to expect when her ship reached the hidden coordinates. The blackness there felt heavier, like the space itself was waiting. The human colony ship slowed as it neared the location. Nothing on scanners, her technician said. No signals, no radiation, no ships. It's not empty, Lyra said, softly. She was right. The space in front of them shimmered like a glass wall breaking, and then they saw it. A station. Massive, ancient, and hidden inside a folded layer of space. It was shaped like a ring with a single black tower rising in the center. The station's surface had Earth markings, but not modern Earth. These were pre-collapse symbols. Symbols no one had seen in 50 years. The ship docked. Lyra walked into the dark station, followed by her team. What they found inside would change everything. Meanwhile, on the Gorak homeworld, Supreme Strategist Vels activated a stolen human relic, a cube. No buttons, no screen. Just smooth metal. He had spent 20 years trying to open it until now. The cube unlocked when the Earthship returned. The old system recognized that the war had resumed. Blue light poured out of the cube. Inside it, words. Victory is not in strength. It is in mindset. Earth does not win because it is powerful. Earth wins because it refuses to die. Vels stared at the message. This was Earth's secret, not a super weapon. A way of thinking? He scrolled down. More files. Hidden blueprints. Not just machines, but training logs, experiments in neural focus, human soldiers pushed to emotional and mental limits. Some were tested to survive without sleep. Some trained to stay calm under torture. Others could act without fear under full body failure. They weren't just building ships. They were building unbreakable minds. Vels muttered, "The human code. It's not tech. It's will." And it terrified him. Back at the hidden station, Captain Lyra and her team explored a deep chamber underground. There was a large machine in the center, a memory core. And around it thousands of frozen capsules, each one holding a soldier, but they weren't asleep. Their eyes were open, watching, waiting. The core lit up as Lyra stepped forward. A voice echoed in the chamber. Command link detected. "Welcome, Captain. Lyra Morgan, access granted." They stared in shock. "How do they know me?" she whispered. The voice answered, "You are the granddaughter of Commander Rena Morgan, leader of the last Earth resistance. She designed this station. You carry her genetic code." Lyra fell silent. She had always been told her grandmother died on the moon. But now it seemed she had built this. The voice continued. The undefeated code was her legacy. Each soldier here carries it. They were not made to attack. They were made to finish what was started. The memory core glowed. Images floated around them. Earth burning, cities falling, and then quiet darkness as the planet went silent. And after that, the secret war. Humans disappearing. Ships vanishing. Plans hidden under fake defeats. Everything led to this moment. The return. Far away, on the black warship Sentinel-1, Commander Reese Cale stood motionless. He was watching Lyra through a one-way feed. He had been awake longer than anyone thought, and now he knew who she was. "She's the key," he whispered. The AI voice replied, "Phase 3 ready." "Shall we begin, Commander?" He nodded once. "Activate Earth's voice. Across space, a signal pulsed. It wasn't a message, it was a memory, broadcast to every hidden Earth survivor, to every deep-buried archive, to every ship sleeping in silence. The voice of Earth spoke. To those who left us behind, to those who thought we broke, you were wrong. We were learning. We were preparing. Now we return, not for revenge, but to remind you what humans truly are. On dozens of planets, buried ships rose from under dirt. On moons, old satellites spun to life. In hidden human cells across alien prisons, prisoners stood, eyes bright, and across every data network one file appeared. A phrase written in every alien language. The undefeated human code has been activated. On Jalar Prime, the alien council screamed, "The humans are coming back." No, they never left. One whispered, "They just waited." And now, the wait was over. When Earth's prisoners rise for years, the galaxy told a simple lie. Earth has no more soldiers. But that lie was about to break. Not with fleets, not with superweapons, but with prisoners, humans locked away, forgotten, broken by war, and, now rising. Ellis Rain had spent 10 years in a concrete box on Chronicles 4, the worst prison in the galaxy. The sky was never blue here. The sun never shined. The air stank of oil and regret. The guards were machines, cold, cruel, programmed to erase hope. But today, something changed. A sound played over the prison's loudspeakers. It wasn't an alarm, it wasn't a warning. It was a heartbeat. Steady, human. Then came the words, quiet but powerful. The code has returned. You are not forgotten. Every human prisoner looked up. Some wept. Some just stared in disbelief. But Ellis Rain smiled. "It's time," he whispered. A few levels below, a girl named Mara Finch opened her eyes. She had been put in cryo-sleep by the aliens because she was too dangerous, and she never screamed during torture, never gave them names, never begged. Now her eyes glowed. Her skin had scars. Some real, some nanotech tattoos from Earth's last Black Ops squad. She stood up and stretched. Bones cracked. Joints popped. Then she touched the wall. The prison lights flickered. Old Earth. Tech inside her body activated. She was a signal receiver, built to carry the undefeated code. And now the signal had reached her. She smiled. "I remember everything. In 39 prisons across 14 star systems, the same thing happened. The Earth prisoners moved like they had waited for this moment their whole lives. Some had been scientists, some medics, some were just teenagers during the war. Now they were survivors, and now they were warriors. On the moon of Varn, the prison commander, a 6-armed beast named Galactic, shouted into his screen, "They're organizing." "That's impossible." He pointed to a dozen cells showing humans standing in perfect formation, without speaking. "They have no weapons," a junior officer replied, voice shaking. "Sir, they are the weapons." Galactic watched in horror, as one human snapped steel cuffs by twisting his wrists. Another walked through a force field like it wasn't there, and another touched the ground, and every door on the floor unlocked. Then the alarms began. But it was too late. At the same moment, in orbit above a forgotten gas planet, Sentinel-1 watched it all unfold. Commander Reese Cale stood at the center of the bridge. "They were the ones left behind," he said. "They were the test," the AI replied. "They passed." Reese closed his eyes. "They're not just rising," he said. "They're remembering." Back on Chronicles 4, Ellis Rain walked through the prison halls, slow and calm, not running, not hiding, like a man on his way home. Guards tried to stop him. He didn't fight. He just moved. Like the guards weren't even there. They aimed plasma rifles. He didn't blink. Before they could fire, the lights cut out. Boom. The hallway exploded. From the smoke stepped Mara Finch, dirt on her face, sparks on her fingers. "Nice of you to wait for me," she said. Ellis grinned. "You always make an entrance." In the central control tower, 2 prisoners rewired the system using forks, wire, and an old shoe battery. They were engineers from the old Earth Navy. On-screen, prison doors opened across the galaxy. Earth's prisoners were no longer prisoners. On Jalar Prime, the alien council watched in panic. "This isn't war," one ambassador said. "It's infection. They're spreading hope," Warlord Terrell roared, smashing a table. "They were defeated. We broke them," a calm voice replied. It was the human ambassador, the only one the galaxy had never truly removed. He had been silent for years. Now, he leaned forward. "You never broke us," he said softly. "You just gave us time to evolve." Then he stood, and the guards couldn't stop him, because the undefeated code had reached him too. Back on the colony, Captain Lyra Morgan received the final transmission. It was from Ellis Rain. He stood inside the broken prison gates, dust on, his face a fire burning behind him. "Captain Morgan," he said, "Earth soldiers are back. We're gathering, all of us." Lyra stared at the screen. Ellis nodded once. "Tell your fleet, we're ready." And then the screen cut. Lyra turned to her crew. Her voice was steady. "Begin rally protocol. Earth isn't just returning. Earth is about to lead. Across the galaxy, every species once involved in Earth's fall now faced the same truth. They never erased Earth. They scattered it, but scattered pieces still fit together. And now the puzzle was rebuilding itself, one prison at a time. They dared to challenge the code. The galaxy still believed in numbers, more fleets, more weapons, more control, and so they gathered, not just one empire, but all the major alien powers. They built a united force, a grand coalition, to stop Earth's return before it could truly begin. 1 million soldiers, 30,000 ships. They called it Operation Final. Silence. Their mission: find Earth's survivors, destroy them, end the human infection. But there was one thing they didn't understand. You can fight soldiers, you can break ships, but you can't erase a code, especially when that code lives inside people. On the bridge of the Coalition command ship Dominion Spark, Supreme Marshal, Veltri stood tall. He was a general of the Krelt Dominion, a war-hardened species of bone and iron. He had fought for 300 years, never lost a battle, and now he faced humans again. "Are we ready?" he asked. The officers saluted. "Yes, sir. Coordinates locked. Human signal traced to Sector 94. Veltri's sharp metal fingers tapped the console. "Then we end it tonight. Sector, Timgur, an empty zone of dead moons and gas trails. But this time the sector wasn't empty. At first the alien fleet saw only one ship. Just one. Black. Silent. It didn't even move." Veltri laughed. "Is that it? One ship?" But then the human ship's lights turned on. Not red, not white, but blue. The same color used in every prison rebellion. And then it spoke. No language. Just code. Undefeated. Code. 423. Initiate. Echelon. Shadow. Veltri frowned. "What does that mean?" His communication tech replied, We don't know, sir. It's not in any known human encryption. It's pre-fall. Deep war code. What does it do?" And then the answer came. It woke everything. In the next second, old war satellites hidden in the asteroid belts spun to life. They weren't weapons. They were mirrors, designed to reflect and bounce light-speed signals across systems. One ship became 1,000 signals. One code became many minds connected. The Coalition fleet didn't know what was real. Some ships saw enemies that weren't there. Others got orders from high command. But those orders were fake, crafted by Earth's recovered AI ghosts. Chaos spread through the alien ranks. Half their ships turned on each other before a single human fired a shot. Veltri roared, "What is this sorcery?" "It's not sorcery, sir," his officer whispered. "It's Earth." Meanwhile, Commander Reese Kale watched from a hidden vessel deep inside a gas cloud. His ship was small, but the code inside it was not. "Test complete," he said calmly. AI replied, "Coalition is down to 62% capacity. Internal betrayal levels exceed 40%. Reese didn't smile. He only whispered, "They thought the code was a weapon." but the code is truth. He opened the next phase. A message was sent, not to the enemies, but to the other humans hiding across the galaxy, prisoners, refugees, runaways. The message was simple. If they challenge the code, they challenge all of us. On planet Viscari, a human orphan raised by aliens picked up the signal. She had never known Earth, but when the code reached her, she began to cry. Not because she was scared, but because she felt it, the feeling of belonging. She stood, walked to the alien guards, and said only one word, enough, and then the lights went out. On the planet Kralos, a human doctor working in secret heard the signal. He dropped his scalpel. He walked outside. Alien soldiers tried to stop him. He stared at them, and they froze, because in his eyes there was no fear, only the code. In thousands of places the same thing happened, humans standing, not with guns, not with ships, but with truth. The truth that Earth was not a place. It was not a planet. It was not even a species. It was a decision. To rise when told, to stay down, to fight when broken, to smile through blood, and to never, ever stop. Back on the Dominion Spark, Veltri ordered full retreat, but it was too late. The code had already spread into their systems, not just the ships, but the soldiers. Some alien soldiers began asking questions. Why are we killing them? Weren't they destroyed? Why do I feel like they're right? Even Veltri's own second-in-command looked away. You can't beat them, he whispered. You can only join them or fear them, Veltri screamed in rage. But screams don't stop codes. From deep space, the human signal ended with one last message. They called it Operation Final Silence. But Earth speaks louder than silence. The galaxy now understood. You could challenge Earth's weapons. You could challenge Earth's fleets. But when you challenge the code, the thing that keeps humanity standing when everything says they should fall, you lose. Every time. Earth returns for all of us. There was no warning, no final battle, no grand invasion. One moment, Earth was a memory. The next, it was everywhere. Not a place, not a planet, but a force. A storm without wind. A name spoken by children who had never seen it. A heartbeat in the chest of anyone who had ever fought for something bigger than themselves. And now, that force had returned. The alien council met in secret. Their chambers, once filled with pride and power, were now silent and afraid. Screens showed burning outposts, ships refusing orders, soldiers laying down arms, not in surrender but in understanding. What is happening? Asked a Zorvani noble, her voice trembling. Why are our people joining them? They're not joining, said the oldest among them. They're remembering. On the edge of the Virox Nebula, where stars are born and destroyed, the human fleet gathered. But this was no army. These were ghosts returned to life. Former prisoners, runaways, old captains flying broken ships patched with love and loss. And at Nyo, the center, a ship with no name. Old earth metal, scars from 100 battles, painted on its side in black letters, for all of us. Commander Reese Cale stood on the bridge. Around him, no generals, just survivors. Each one carried something from their past. A necklace, a letter, a uniform. None of it matched, but all of it meant something. Is it time? One of them asked. Reese looked at the stars. No, he said softly. It's already begun. Across the galaxy, the code was now more than signals. It was stories, songs, dreams. A child on a mining world drew Earth's blue sky without ever seeing it. A teenage girl on a slave planet wrote the word home on her arm. A young alien soldier, born long after Earth's fall, stood between his general and a human family and refused to move. I won't fight them, he said, because they're fighting for something we all lost. The final message came through the stars like a whisper. We're not here to rule. We're not here to conquer. We're here to remind you. You were human once too. Back on Earth, now quiet, now healing. A garden grew over the ruins of old cities. Children ran between wildflowers growing through cracked streets. Elders sat on broken tanks telling stories about the time the stars forgot Earth. and Earth made. Them remember. The last alien fleet, what was left of it, approached Earth's orbit. No missiles fired, no fighters launched, they just watched. And from Earth, one ship rose to meet them. It carried no weapons, just a crew of 4, old, young, human, not human. They docked with the alien ship, and when the hatch opened, no one spoke. Instead, they held out a single seed, a living gift. Grow again, the human said, not like before, better. The alien admiral took the seed with shaking hands, his voice cracked. Why help us? The human smiled. Because that's what Earth does. The code became legend. The message became movement. The story became truth, and the name Earth, it became a promise. One spoken not just by humans anymore, but by anyone who refused to give up. Anyone who stood for the weak. Anyone who carried light into the dark. The war was nearly over, but Earth wasn't here to end. War's Earth had returned for all of us.